Spin screen and then go over.
Yep. We are live now, Ashish.
Yes. Yes, it's visible.
Yes, it is. So 4 watching now, 5.
Ashish, you can
We are-
introduce once a few things of people have come in.
Brijlesh, can you say that again? What should I do?
No, you can introduce the webinar and everything.
Yeah, sure. Aravind, let's wait for a few minutes. Okay, very less number of people are there, so maybe we can wait for 5 minutes. Let us see if more join. Now that it is recorded, I think many people watch it at their convenience. I think that is what is happening.
Correct.
Now that it is recorded, I think many people watch it at their convenience.
Good morning, everyone. We are waiting for people to join in. It is just 10:30, so we will give a minute or two for people to join. Ashish, is my audio okay?
Yes, sir, when your audio is fine.
Okay, great. Thanks.
And I can see your video.
Morning, Sampath.
Sampath, we are live, so don't speak here. KK, mute yourself. KK, mute yourself.
Ashish, I guess we can get going.
Yes. For some reason, what I speak is echoed, so I think you should start.
Fine, Ashish, no issues. We don't hear your echo. Anyway, we will start.
No, it comes like after 4-5 seconds.
Oh, okay. Okay, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us for the part 2 of our session on Assam Link Railway, the Bengal Assam Rail Connections. Last week, we had our part 1 getting shared on YouTube. We just stepped into the early railway lines of Bengal and Assam, the connections. And then we also got a brief background on how to interpret satellite imagery. We saw how the main towns along North Bengal, the tea-rich area of the Duars, and Guwahati and the eastern part of Assam getting connected to the capital city then, Calcutta. We also saw how partition in 1947 with East Pakistan splitting had an impact on the trunk lines or the main lines that we have been discussing. How the connections got snapped, how Kolkata was virtually disconnected from Assam via the through mainline system that existed, the thriving mainline system that existed at that point of time. Now, in this session, we'll have a quick summary of whatever we have discussed in our earlier session, some snapshots, and then we will get into the details of how we built the Assam Link Railway, more from a military and strategy perspective, and incidentally benefiting commercial interests as well. And we will also, the second half of this session, we will also go through how the system, without being touched, was converted into broad gauge, and how the system is as of date. So that's the agenda for today's session. As always, we will be having this session as a Google Earth screen sharing mode. If you are having another Google Maps window or Google Earth window in satellite mode open along with this, you will be able to enjoy more. You'll be able to trace all the places yourself. But if you don't worry, it shouldn't be a problem. Anyway, the screen will be helping you to understand the geography better. Just as a recap, we started with how the early railway lines existed. So this place, what we see here in the bottom of the screen is Kolkata Shialda. And then how the lines branched out. The red lines are broad gauge, green is meter gauge, and yellow is narrow gauge. That's the standard convention. The blue lines are water ferry, and the white is a road. So the lines branched out of Kolkata, and then this through line via Ranaghat, Saraghat, and Parbatipur took us up north to North Bengal. Here it is Siliguri and then Darjeeling. And then a branch out from Santahar took us through Gitaldaha, Amindam Pandu, and Guwahati, that is here on the northern fringes of the Kasi Jaintia Hills. And then we also saw that the Golando Ghat, which was very famous for the steamer connections at that point of time, for the Calcutta to Dhaka and Calcutta to southern Assam connections. So Golando Ghat to Chandpur Ghat is the steamer connection. And from Chandpur, we had this meter gauge line taking us all the way up northeast through the Barak Valley to Lumding, with a left arm branching out to Guwahati and right arm branching out to Tinsukia. So this area north of Brahmaputra is very famous for the tea estates. Tea being Assam tea, Darjeeling tea, you know very well, was one of the world famous tea brands. And a railway connection to the tea estates was inevitable. And then we also saw the branches at that point of time. Some of the branches that we saw, main branches we saw were the lines to Mal, which is at the core of the Duars area, tea estates. And then the narrow gauge line through Alipur Dwar to Janki. One correction from what we discussed last time, I understand that there was no direct connection between Mal and Alipur Dwar. The connection got snapped somewhere here. The line from Mal ended up at a place called Madarihat, and this narrow gauge line, which subsequently got converted to a meter gauge line, had a branch line all the way to Dal Singh Sarai, and these were not linked across the Tosha river that flows here. One more addition to the session 1. I just wanted to clarify that we will not be going by definitely by the chronological sequence of events. We will be going by how we travel along the path. So there may be some events that might have happened at an early stage, which we will be covering it later during our session. So it is just a matter of time. So we should be able to cover all our areas and the lines by the time we complete our session. So at the time of independence, this green line, the through main line, what we see here from Atrai to Dalpaiguri and Siliguri, this was converted to broad gauge, the famous train Darjeeling Mail, which gave a through connection from Sialda station here to the foothills of Darjeeling, Siliguri, was operating at that time through this route, what rail fans call as the original route of Darjeeling Mail. All the through trains from Sialda to Guwahati side also took the branch line from Santahar through Lamonihat and Gital Daha all the way to Amingaon, Handu, and then to Guwahati. Where we left or where we paused during our last session was on the border cutoff. All these black color rectangles or the polygons that you see here are where the border was divided between India and East Pakistan, now Bangladesh. So you can see that almost all the trunk lines have got snapped. The direct links from Sialda side to either North Bengal here or Central Assam here in Guwahati or East Assam, Tinsukia, all were snapped at one point or the other. There was no possibility for us to run a train from Sialda to these areas in the lines that we see here. So from a strategy perspective, we all know that the only connection, let me for a minute show you the border. It is a bit clumsy, but then this area, what we see here, is called the Chicken's Neck. This narrow area, probably around how many kilometers? 20 kilometers width is called the Chicken's Neck. That connects the mainland India to our entire northeast, the Seven Sisters along with Assam. So it was essential that from a military and a strategy perspective, we protect this area from being encroached, from being taken over by militants at that point, and also to ensure that we have a seamless connection to Assam to make sure that in case, if required, military armory could be moved from the mainland to the northeast. So how did we achieve that? If I were the railway minister at that point of time, and I want to connect my rest of India to the northeast with the existing railway lines and working around all the border constraints that we see here, the natural course that I would take is to make the best use of the existing lines. So I'll try to bridge the gaps wherever they are. So to start with, I have some seamless movement moving and probably work on a broader plan at a later stage. So that is what we did in late 1940s and early 1950s. The entire concept was given a name, Assam Link Railway. So for me, if you can recall from our last session, let me open up the station names here. Whatever we saw till that point. KIR, station code for Katihar. Katihar is the gateway to the northeast, the northeast frontier from the mainland India. So almost all the lines, meter gauge lines, merge here, and then they branch out to Parbatipur in East Pakistan and to the North Bengal here through Kishanganj. Now, let me start working on. I have to link Katihar and Tinsukia here with the existing lines. Now, how will I do it? Let me take off the station names. So I'll start from here. Right? I cannot take this route from Barsoi Junction to through Radhikapur to Parbatipur. This is blocked. There is a border here. So I'll have to take the line through my northern branch at Barsoi. So I'll start here. I have an existing meter gauge line from Katihar to Barsoi. So I'll make the best use of it. Now I'll move northwards after Barsoi. So I have an existing line all the way till Kishanganj. This is where the change in gauge happened. The line till Kishanganj from Barsoi end was meter gauge, and the line from Siliguri, the extension of Darjeeling Hill Railway, was narrow gauge. So my first priority will be to convert this narrow gauge line into a meter gauge line. So that was done. So I now have a through meter gauge line all the way till this Siliguri area. I will park Siliguri area discussion for a moment. We will run through the entire line and then come back to Siliguri. So this is where I have. Now then, if you look at the existing lines over here, I cannot go any way down south either from Siliguri side or from Mal side because the borders are cut off here. I can't run my train beyond this point. This place at Haldibari was a partition. This place near Changrabanda was also partition. So what should I do? I have to make the best use of my Duas line, the Duas branches that I see here. So what I did was, as part of the Assam Link Railway, I connected Shivok and Udlabari. This link was done. This narrow gauge line from Siliguri to Shivok was converted into meter gauge. And then an existing meter gauge line as a branch from Mal Junction to Bagrakot was already there. So what I did was, I connected this point Shivok across Tista River and took it all the way to connect it to the existing line from Mal. Now you can see that there is a slight change in alignment here. The existing line came and ended at Bagrakot. Since this line was at a higher gradient, it involved 1 in 60 steep gradients to negotiate. So I took this line from Shivok a bit downstream and joined it at a point just before the railway bridge here. If you recall our last session, we were also discussing on how railway lines were built across rivers, how the location of the bridges were planned, how rivers were trained. So in this case, it is a clear indication. If you see here, the river is at a broader flow here. It is trained and narrowed down at a point, and then it is allowed to flow at its natural course. At this narrow point is where the railway lines cross. Again, you can see it in this river. It has its full width probably of how many kilometers or how many meters? 600 meters here, which was trained to become 160 meters here, almost 1/5 of it. And then the railway bridge was built here at this point. So I am now able to freely move all the way to Mal. This place is Mal Junction. So I am taking a reversal here. I use my existing lines to cross through the Duars area. And I have a continuous line all the way till this place, Motherhat. Now you can also clearly see, like how we discussed last time, railway lines need to be laid at a place or at an alignment where it involves the shorter distance as well as lesser cost. building bridges, training rivers are something that will involve a lot of outlay. So you can clearly see that instead of probably building 20-25 bridges over all the rivers here and connecting it to Dalsing Sarai, the line was actually taken a bit southward for how many kilometers? For probably around 10-15 kilometers here. And then the line was allowed to cross the rivers, the tributaries of Teesta and Tosha rivers at their downstream. So the number of bridges have come down. Probably from around 10-15 major bridges and 5-10 minor bridges. We now have only 2 or 3 major bridges and probably half a dozen minor bridges, nothing else more. So I have an existing line all the way to Madarhat, and what I did was I connected this to the existing meter gauge line from Rajabhat Kawa at a place called Hashimara. Now it also involved building a big bridge on the Tosha River, one of the main tributaries of Brahmaputra, the right bank tributaries. So I can now travel freely all the way till Rajabhat Kawa. I also told that prior to independence, this line was also converted into meter gauge, this narrow gauge line, to ensure that we have through connections to the main line. And then at that point of time, a call was needed to be taken. Whether I should branch out my link from Rajabhat Kawa all the way to a convenient point along this main line that takes us to Guwahati. You see here, Guwahati is here on our right side. Should I connect here or should I take it from a different place? At that point of time, it was decided that the line will branch out from Alipurduar, which was the district headquarters at that point of time, and it will also avoid laying a railway line through the thick forests that you see here. It was to preserve the forest area as well. Now, Alipurduar is somewhere here. This from Alipurduar, the meter gauge line branched out through Samuktala Road, crossing a few tributaries of Brahmaputra, and it joined at a place called Fakiragram. So from Fakiragram, I have the existing trunk line taking me all the way through New Bongegaon, through Amingaon. Of course, the ferry was always there. From Amingaon, I have to take the ferry to Pandu, and from Pandu, I take a meter gauge train to Guwahati. And from Guwahati, even though my shorter connection was snapped, the shorter connection via the Kachar hills and the Badarpur area was snapped, I am still having a connection to the mainland from Tinsukia through Lambing. So this existing line was put into better use. So this is how we were able to link all those places that were snapped during the partition to the mainland again via a very good meter gauge system. It involved usage of existing meter gauge lines. It involved conversion of narrow gauge lines to broad meter gauge. And connecting the missing links in the meter gauge by building bridges across the tributaries of Brahmaputra. Before I go into the Siliguri area and the importance of Parbatipur post-partition, I'll just pause here to see if there are any questions. Ashish?
One suggestion, some of them are answered already by Ganesh here. One request is to keep the names on that layer which shows the names of the stations on, so that they can. Okay, that's good. Okay, so I think that is the only one. He is saying, one Indeva Pandey is saying Alipudur was a sub-divisional headquarter, not a district. It became district in 2013. it was a part of Jaipalguri district in those days.
Okay, yeah.
So
Understand. The decision was Alipurdwar was more prominent than Rajabhat. So that was the reason why the branch out was decided from Alipurdwar. Yeah, right.